for we are the Ballistic Patriot. This week, creepy Governor Cuomo stripped gun manufacturers. He got through the New York legislature. He forced through the New York legislature a law that he signed that stripped the gun manufacturers from their quote immunity. Now, it's not really an immunity, but this is actually this is actually not anything new. This is like an old hack. It was tried in Philadelphia, and it's destined to fail because the federal government, which on the back of the Commerce Clause, which I don't necessarily agree on, but on the back of the Commerce Clause, determined that they have that they regulate commerce among and between the states, passed an immunity to gun manufacturers a few years ago. So since they preempted the field, there's no way that this particular law is going to work. Plus, it's unconstitutional. And when I say it's stripped, there's no way. It wouldn't even survive a regular tort claim. So basically, the gun, if there was a gun suit in a New York court or a federal court, it's not even going to be able to survive the gun manufacturer, the regular tort claim, because even in tort law, you have to prove some kind of nexus, some kind of proximate cause, some kind of chain of causation, so that the gun is the cause of the death. So if a gun blows up on you, of course, a chain of warranty, then you could actually sue. It's not, and that's not what we're talking about. We're talking that these turkeys decided that they're going to let people that have shot and killed, family members of people that have been shot and killed or shot and killed themselves, to sue on gun manufacturers because they created the gun manufacturers. Kind of like if somebody was a bank robber and they used a Ford car, you could sue Ford cars because somebody committed a bank robbery and then shot somebody on the way out. So that's the theory behind the suit of it. Now, it does bring up a couple points though, and I think that so this is basically just lawfare, more use of lawfare, because the gun manufacturers, and I think the only one left in New York because of them left is maybe Henry Rifles. Hopefully they will have left too. But it is lawfare, and so gun manufacturers are going to have to get lawyers. They're going to have costs. They're going to have to be time and to defend themselves, and it ties them down into defense. It's just more lawfare that's being okayed by the left towards us, towards the people, your American citizens. But it does bring up a couple points. Number one is, I just got to bring out, it's another one of these incidents, another little aside here, the connection between perverts and wokeism. It's like there is a direct correlation from these twit politicians who virtue signal about wokeness and the pervert quotient that they are guilty of. Just recently, of course, creepy Cuomo has 10 credible women come forward saying he's all handsy and he's all sex abusing. All of a sudden, here he goes to redeem his image by going even further progressive than anybody had before. And see, this is a common recurring pattern. You saw good old Bill Gates. What a creep. He did the Common Core, he did stopping DDT, he did vaccinations and all this other stuff. And the next thing in the middle of divorce, it comes out that he says, Epstein, he's an interesting type of guy. No, Epstein's not an interesting type of guy. He's a pedophile and a blackmailer, a blackmailer of other pedophiles. He's not an interesting guy. And so even his wife divorces him. And even now, good old Warren, the idiot from Omaha, Buffett, he's even jumped off his boat. But again, there's like a direct correlation between the virtual signaling and the pervert quotient of people. So the higher the virtue signaling, the bigger the pervert. Of course, we see that in the Clintons. We see that with Bill and Hillary. Now, Bill's sin was, of course, sexual in nature, and that's from Paula Jones to Juanita Broderick, who he raped, and then for good old Hillary, it was about money, right? Good old greed and money. But the bigger the wokeism, the bigger the pervert, and so there's that direct correlation that I just want to point out. Now, back to the issue of of losing the immunity. But you think about it, God never lets never lets the big loser have the last say. There's always opportunity in evil, opportunity to turn it around. And I do remember back. This gives me a chance to recall the words of William Penn. And I know Appeals is now going, oh, Niagara Falls. He said William Penn again. But the great William Penn had pointed out that if a prosecutor or government official costs you something in a prosecution or something like that, you should be able to recover 1.5 to 2 times what your losses are. And so if anybody is a citizen and they are penalized by or hurt by a government official, there was no immunity. And of course, in the beginning, there is no immunity. This whole idea of immunity is something the idiot judges came up to explain them not doing any work. It's another one of those judge-made nonsenses. Now, they'll say when they were developing this nonsense is, oh, look, the government, whether it's judges or legislature or people, they represent the people, and so we're just taking from our own purse. No, 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 no. You've hurt somebody. Remember, we're not a democracy, because in a democracy, if 2 people out of 3 say you can rape the third one, they get raped. We're not a republic, meaning if 2 people say to a third one that since you're the president, you can tell us that we can all rape the 4th one, then that's a republic. No, we are a constitutional republic, meaning there is a place, as we know from the founding doctrine, unless your name is Biden, where we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights. Those rights nobody can take away. And so there's a level of rights that human beings have that no government, no president, no judge can take away. One of them being self-defense. And that's why the American self-defense is so unique from the European self-defense. One of them being the right to own weapons. It's so unique. There are rights that are beyond a government to take. So where is the remedy for when those rights are taken? Well, over the years, they've developed this nonsense of immunity, whether it's legislature, whether it's judicial, whether it's prosecutional, and whether the police from suit. They say it's immunity. What it means is, oh no, you don't have a right to go to court. Now, it's completely contravening what the original founders had intended and the original documents. For example, both the 5th, 6th, 7th Amendment, they provide for your right to have a jury, and that you only have a right to have a jury if you have a right to have a case, right? And so the original fathers understood this, that listen, government only represents themselves. Somebody in government only represents themselves in government, and they can step and hurt individual people. And so while we're getting rid of the manufacturers' rights to immunity, it would make sense that we revisit this whole idea that, say, the city of Philadelphia, who disarms and has the most aggressive anti-gun laws in Pennsylvania, and yet has a high death rate, that maybe some of their citizens will have a right to sue because they're victims and they're victimized by the city of Philadelphia. Now, we know the statistics just follow the science. We know that in the countryside, you have way more guns, you have less gun laws, you have way less murder and death and destruction. We know that in the cities, you have draconian gun laws, you have way less guns, you have guns taken out of the hands of citizens and victims, and you have super high murder rates. Follow the science, follow the statistics. So how come those, like that creep mayor of the city of Chicago, where they had 90 shootings over the week, how come she doesn't get sued for the fact that she can't protect her citizens? How come the victims who can't get guns to protect themselves can't sue? Well, immunity. What we need to do is to start doing, instead of fighting this all into defense, is to start going on the offense. And as we go on the offense, you say, you know what? There's a lot of people that need to be stripped of their immunity, especially the people victimizing people and doing the work of the criminal elements who need their victims to be unarmed. And so it just goes to if we're going to start abrogating laws like that, maybe what the good states need to start doing is to start taking away the immunity of some of these creep, these super creep governors and legislators and people who are really the source of the problem. And that would be our look at the recent law passed in New York. You're back, brother.